My name is Dr. Mumina Shibio, and I work for Kenya Agricultural Livestock Research Organization, and I'm also the principal investigator for the project Enhancing Productivity, Post-Harvest Management and Market Access of African Indigenous Vegetable in Kenya. The project targets two counties, that is Kisii and Kakamega, and majorly this is selected based on that already the two counties have prioritized African indigenous vegetable in their county integrated plans. And also it's a priority value chain for those two counties. Majorly women and youth also are involved in the African indigenous vegetable production in those two counties. And also the land sizes are limited in the two counties. So with that, that is how the targeting was done. And also why African indigenous vegetable, because it plays critical role in food security and nutrition. Also in terms of income and livelihood, as Ava said, supports women and youth in terms of their business ventures or agribusiness on farm like that. So even what is also important is smallholder farmers in our country are more than 70%, and this project targets the smallholder farmers such that we can be able to address the issues of the seed from the input side, and also the issue of post-harvest management, because as FAO, we face as a country post-harvest loss of between 40 to 50% for the African indigenous vegetable. But also under this project, we're going to re-evaluate that, because data is an issue. But at KALRO here, the advantage right now we have is we are the host for the entire agricultural sector data hosted under KIAMIS. So also for this project, the data we collect, we're gonna update it on the KIAMIS, but it's important so that we can do a re-evaluation of the losses now with available data.
Ms. Carlos Iglesias, I'm a professor in horticultural science at North Carolina State University in the state of North Carolina in the U.S. And I'm a collaborator in this project. I have been participating in the build-up of a framework concept around indigenous vegetables since 2020. And now we have funding to move ahead with a small portion of that project that it looks at different aspects of the value chain of African indigenous vegetables. It's very excited for this launch and excited for having spent the week here. Yes, we don't consume African indigenous vegetables in the U.S., but our intent goes beyond focusing on crops that are important for our state or for our region or for our country. What we're trying to do is to support other groups that work in crops that are relevant for their livelihood, and African indigenous vegetables are a group of species that are not heavily researched upon, and that they need a lot of support for developing a lot of awareness in terms of what is that they contribute in nutrition and what can be done with them. Okay, so that's our interest. We are at the same time trying to expose people in the U.S. to these new crops for them, new species. That's why we're going to organize field days. We're going to invite chefs. The more people get to know African indigenous vegetables outside of Kenya, outside of Africa, the more possibilities there will be for funding. Because when people is aware of what is grown, what is eaten in different parts of the world, then they are more willing to support the cause.